And there it does it again. It freezes every week right at that point. I have no idea why. I do apologise. The gremlins are still getting the better of me, but in my defence, I'm not really, you know, I'm literally, quite literally fighting them with one hide tied. If not behind me back, then you know what I mean. Anyway, cheers, everyone. It's Friday. We're here again. The beer is poured. The beer is cold. The anti-flake this week. Oh, dear me. Yes. So, it's soon come round again, hasn't it? Christmas and everything. We're like a week and a bit away. Where are we? Yes, Sunday will be a week on Sunday will be Christmas Eve, and it's just like it doesn't seem that long ago that we were all kind of sweltering in the heat wave during the summer. It's the years get quicker as time marches on, and still, one good thing about this is that it did get me out of putting the tree up last week. So there you go, every cloud, as they say. I'll talk to you in a little while about the schedule for videos regarding Christmas and everything like that. But before we get into any of the business of the evening, let's have a look at the roll call, see who we've got in. According to my readout here, there's 149 souls aboard at the moment, and scrolling right up to the top of the chat, I see Rent to Kill. Yeah, you nearly made it this week, mate. You nearly made it, but you were pipped at the post by Mark Colonel. He was first in. Then, as I say, Rent to Kill coming in second. Peter Nicholson, then Anton, Robert Bald, and who else have we got? We got Terry Day, sometimes dim, never thin, Peter Collins, and we got Johnny Random and Vincent Brennan. Vincent, sir, I'll just say this publicly, you are a gentleman and a scholar. I got a rather nice little Christmas present from Vincent last week, and very much appreciated. Why is my phone pinging? What's going on here? Excuse me, I just need to reply to the missus. Yes. Did I feed the dog? Yes. So there we go. The little sod is trying for a second meal. Anyway, Vincent Brennan is in. So is Relaxing Meditation. There's Robster Boy. How are you, Robert, mate? Nice to see you here. There's Dogfather61, Cylon Hybrid. PFY Guitars is in. So is Peter Borthwick, Dave Fiendish, John Ross, Michael Palmer. How are you, mate? We got John Jones, and there's Ian Clark in the chilly Sussex. Ian Clark saying, any new injuries to report this week? Not quite, but I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Robert Galbraith is in. There's John Mack, Michael Purcell, Dr. Gomez 1. Sean House is there, and we've got Gordo Canuck and Joe McMurray, Bill Mumbo, Andrew, is that Stottard? I hope I pronounced that right. And David Evans saying, did I get my text the other day? I didn't, mate. I can't say I did. There's Timbo. We got theme tunes. We got Chris Ottowell. We got Nancy Davis. We've got Johnny H. And scrolling down, I can see we've got Ben Allmark and Steve Entwistle and Mickey Walnuts and Savvy64. Malcolm Spillett is in as well. There's David Mitchell and Pablo Hank. We've got Paul Trainer, BSc, no less. And let's have another look. We got Peter S. We got Nathan, Rexamatic, all the way from Phoenix, Arizona. There's Colin Falcon and Gary Shaw. Nice to see you in there, mate. And James Hunt, 60s man. And who else we got? Eric Luttinger, the Gissy 77. Hoping you'll welcome a bass player from Norway. Oh, we accept all sorts in here. Look at who's hosting it. I can't be choosy about my clientele, can I? If they let me in, mate, they'll let anybody in. Right, there's Neil Roberts, Jeff Crouch, Steve B is in. So's William Forrest. Cal B and the Rocco Cat is there. Dudley Squat, Martin Bix, Martin Brown as well. There's Adam San. Johnny is in, and Ian Rouse. and Steve Cassidy guitar. Not gigging tonight, mate. Gary Arnold, David James, Brad Dowell, Budget Guitar Show. Nice to see you there, Johnny. And Jay Aoyong is in, and Arto, Johnny Love, and who else we got? Old Mick the Trier. I love that name. Russell Gibson is there. Raymondo Galfredi is in. I've got a full glass on my HB 335 strapped on. Well, that sounds like a proper recipe for a Friday night guitar and beer. Cape Cod Dog is in, and we've got Macaroon and Steelhorse 75 and anyone else. Yeah, we did have a heat wave in Redcar this year, Sean. Yes, I'm not sure what's going to happen next year. I think summer's on a Wednesday next year. Then there's Stuart Young, and we've got, who else? Anyone else? Watches and Guitars is in, and I believe Murray Music, and I think that maybe just about everyone on board, and DJW. So there you go. Right, yes. Housekeeping out the way, I'll tell you what's coming on the channel this week. On Sunday, let me just get a little bit more light in here, actually, before we do that. I'll just crank that up a little bit. There we go. On Sunday, a budget pedal very kindly loaned to me by a pal of mine called David, who's probably watching this right now. The Tom's Line Dumbler pedal. I don't think they make them anymore, but I've just had a quick look on eBay and Reverb and places like that. You can pick them up for like peanuts, like 25 quid or maybe 35, 40 quid. Some people are asking for them, but I saw a couple there for 25 quid. As its name suggests, it is, and it's basically a Dumble amp in a box. Or is it? Well, we'll find out on Sunday what it's like. Then on Monday, it's a solo from a song where I am sort of the polar opposite of the title of the song. Think of, I'll give you a clue, Long Beards. What's one of their biggest hits? And it wouldn't apply to me. Then Tuesday's top 5 video is basically the best pieces of kit I've reviewed this year. So we're going to be looking at the best pieces of gear I've reviewed in 2023. Then I had a viewer's question about, those kind of rakes that you do across the strings, and to kind of make a note really snarl. So we're going to be looking into that on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, you might remember a few weeks ago, I unboxed that Jet Strat copy, the JS300, on the channel. Oh gosh, how many weeks ago was that? The kind of the Jet Strat copy. Well, Thursday is the review of that, and I see a few people have Sharp Dressed Man, exactly what I'm not. I saw Johnny there, Budget Guitar Show, was trying to get me attention. Hi, John Robson Guitarist. I'm just uploading my latest award-losing video by a numpty who can barely play. Well, mate, we might be able to do something about that. I'm not going to let the cat out the bag here, but I'll ping you an email later once this is fixed, which will hopefully be just the other side of Christmas. We can work together and do some lessony kind of stuff together. We shall see. If you're interested, mate, that's it. Then Sharp Dressed Man, but legs won't apply to you either. Oh, well, I've got them. It's just whether or not you'd want to look at them or not. Yes. There's 2 or 3 days every year in the summer when the shorts come out the wardrobe, and every year they've shrunk a little bit in the wardrobe as well. But anyway, two serious matters, or relatively serious matters. Christmas is almost upon us, and this coming week's videos are going to be the last full week of videos before I wind down for the festive season of tinsel and turkey and all of that. So normal videos Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, as I've just outlined there. live stream next week on Friday as usual. Then a live stream 1 p.m. on 1 p.m. UK time on Christmas Day. And then that's it, folks. That's it for Christmas. I'm taking that week off, and I will be back in the saddle on Monday the 1st of January, as far as video content is concerned, and resuming lessons on the 2nd. So there you go. That's basically the schedule that we've got, and I just need a little bit of a lubricant after that. Oh, dear mate. Yeah, Anton saying Christmas Day live stream, please. It's sort of become a bit of a tradition. I'll basically keep on doing them. It's whether it'll last the full hour or not. I noticed last year's Christmas Day live stream. It was just, it just sort of lacked a little bit of the usual momentum because people were already drunk. I wasn't far off myself, so we'll see. But yeah, there will be a live stream 1 p.m. UK time on Christmas. And Rent to Kill saying, who's walking Dougal now then, John? Well, he isn't getting walked, I'm afraid. We are exploring other ways of tiring him out. He's getting a lot of exercise in the backyard, chasing a ball, and we're doing a lot of kind of mentally tiring things with him, doing a lot of training with him and stuff that we should have kept up when we first got him, but got a little bit complacent about. So that tires him out mentally, and he's still he still gets that sleepy face on him and curls up and lays on his back and snores, which, of course, the wife says, just like you, dear, which I think is a gross slander, but there you go. So anyway, yeah. On road again saying, what's my thoughts on PV amps? Ever owned and played any throughout your gigging career? Thanks for the great videos, mate. PV, I mean, my mate Steve Hoggett, who's sometimes in the chat, summed it up brilliantly one time. He said, well, it's PV, isn't it? It'll work underwater. And that the solid, dependable, reliable. I mean, the last band I was in back in like 2009 or so, I was using just a stock PV Bandit, and much to the disgust of the other guitar player in the band, who had like a Marshall DSL with a 2B12 cab and a pedal board the size of the M1, and I had like a PV Bandit, a vintage branded, not vintage as in old, but vintage brand Strat copy, and a Dan Electro chorus pedal, and that was my rig. And in the rehearsal space we were playing in, a band that was in the room next door came in and complimented me on the sound of my Marshall. I said, well, actually, mate, I'm plugged into the PV Bandit. So that tells you all you need to know. They're great sounding amps, and for gigging, I suppose the PV Bandit was the sort of just go-to, affordable, reliable, good sounding or good enough sounding amp for the working musician playing pubs and clubs. I think that's probably been overtaken now by the Boss Katana, but yeah, I have a lot of time for PV solid state amps. At least I don't think I've ever played through a PV valve amp, but there you go. Anyway, a rather sad topic to bring up now. He's a really good friend of mine, and he was a student, and he became a very, very good friend. He's had what can only be described as some absolutely, devastating news. I'm not going to say any more than that, because I want to respect his privacy, and and we'll leave it at that. But basically, it's left him in a situation where he's not able to play. and not likely to be able to play. So he's looking to move his guitar collection on. And I said I would kind of invite offers on the live stream tonight. So let's get that over with now. I will tell you the guitars that he's got, and I can vouch for all of them because I've played most of them. He has 3 of the vintage brand guitars, you know, the Trev Wilkinson JHS vintage brand. There is a vintage Les Paul, which I believe is the model number is the vintage V100. He has the vintage PRS copy. I think that's the vintage VRS 100, and the vintage Strat copy, which I believe is the vintage V6. So 3 lovely guitars there from the budget end of the spectrum. And, you know, if you want to make offers on these guitars, email them to me. There's some more. I'm going to come to those in a moment. But any of these guitars that you might be interested in, jrguitartuition@gmail.com, and just send me your offers. And shipping costs are prohibitively expensive for sending outside the UK, unfortunately. So this is probably going to be UK buyers only. But if you're in the UK and you're interested in a vintage brand Les Paul, vintage brand PRS copy, or a vintage brand Strat copy, then you know the email address because I've just read it out. Other guitars that he's got right up to the higher end of the spectrum, we have a PRS Core, as in made in the USA, 408 model. Beautiful guitar. I might even have reviewed that on the channel at some point. So one of those. Then we have 4 PRS SE guitars. There is a custom 2408, a PRS SE Paul's guitar, an early 22 fret PRS SE Santana, and then the later 24 fret Santana. And the other ones that he's given me on the list here are the HB24T. I'm presuming HB are Harley Benton. And you know me, I'm not very good with Harley Benton model numbers, but there's 2 of those, a red one and a blue one, Harley Benton 24T red and 24T blue. All of those guitars he wants to move on to new homes. And as I say, if you're interested in any of those, let's try and get the chap some funds by moving them on. As I say, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. Ping me an email, and you know, I can put you in touch with him, or you know, we can work out the logistics as we go along. But basically, those are the guitars that are for sale, and offers, please. Let's see who else we've got in. Ooh, I see we've got the Lamb in. Nice to see you, mate. And let's have a look. Steve Cassidy saying PV Bandit was my first gigging amp too. Budget Guitar Show. Yeah, they get around. Budget Guitar Show. Johnny there had a PV Bandit. Yeah, they're just, you know, they're great sounding amps. I think I saw Squeeze at Middlesbrough Town Hall at some point in the 90s. And I couldn't tell what model it was, but there was certainly a PV combo on stage. So, and it looked a bit sort of bandity. Jay Aoyong saying, sad, any links to pics and prices, etc.? I don't have any pictures at the moment, but you know, I can email the chap and see if he's got any pics he can send. And what I'll do is, if I get some pics, I'll put them up in the community tab on YouTube. I almost forgot the name of of this well-known video streaming website then. Oh, I see Dougal's kicking off. If he doesn't pipe down, I may have to go and put my stern voice on downstairs. But, you know, let me just get a beer open. Now, this is where things could get messy. Yeah, we've got the... I'll just move the mic so you can see what I'm doing. We've got to kind of cradle the glass there like that. And then a steady hand is required. A steady hand. There we go. See if I can get a little bit of a head on it. No, it's very, very anti-flake tonight, so I might as well just pour it on the tabletop here. There we go. In case anyone's interested, tonight's stream of verbal nonsense is brought to you, as usual these days, by Heineken. Yeah, you need one of them beer hats with a tube, says the lamb. Indeed, yes. Don't give the wife ideas. She was asking me what I wanted for Christmas. Budget guitar show. In my next video, I'm playing live through Judas Priest rehearsal rig. Indeed, you did a good rendition of Living After Midnight in your last video, Johnny. Steve Lamb, what you saying there, mate? Hello from Minnesota. Been a couple of months since I was able to watch. Spent November in Thailand, but shocked to see John's hand in a cast. Yes, it's an unfortunate accident whilst out dog walking. Hand got caught in the lead got wrenched the wrong way, finger got wrenched the wrong way. Broken finger, detached tendon, operation in a splint. Basically, that's the short version. Sean House's Dougal protesting at not getting dinner number 2. Yes, poor lad. He's ever so hard done by. There's a little family-run pet shop in town that sell all kind of old school dog treats. Not the stuff that comes in a cellophane pack that is, kind of full of processed muck. They sell pig's ears. They sell beef jerky. They sell, buffalo pizzles. Yes, indeed. He has a bit of a taste for those, and they sell all kinds of things like that. Chicken feet, and all this kind of stuff that, and a lot of it is and camel skin. Oh, he loves his camel skin, and every time I go in that shop, I see their eyes light up because they know they're going to at least make their rent that day. I was in there with a mate of mine when he was visiting, and the lady who owns the shop says he does come in an awful lot. I think that dog might be a bit spoiled. So Steve Cassidy saying, sounds like Lidl. Nancy Davis is asking if I've ever played a 7-string guitar. I think I briefly did once. It was at, these little mini NAMM shows that Guitarist magazine used to do at various locations around the country. I was at one of those, and it was the year that the Ibanez Steve Vai 7-string, what was it? The Universe, it was called. The one that had the paint job that looked like, an accident in a plasticine factory. And I remember kind of picking it up and, just out of curiosity on the Ibanez stand and thinking, it's weird. No, Timbo, it wasn't the Gem. The Gem is the 6-string one with the carry handle on it. It wasn't something that really appealed to me. I'm just an old dinosaur. I like standard tuning, 6 strings. And then I know where everything is, and I can, it's just not something that really appeals to me. But if it floats your boat, if you're into all that kind of angry drop tune metal kind of stuff, well, I'd rather people were listening to that, because it's still at least a guitar focused form of music than there was a point in the 1990s at some point where apparently in the UK, DJ turntables outsold electric guitars. And, that was, I thought when 94, 95, 96, somewhere about the mid-90s that happened. And I thought that was ever such a sad fact. So anything that gets people playing and listening to guitar-focused music, I think is just, how can it not be a good thing? Doesn't matter that it's not my taste in music. Oh, Chicago, Tim. Yes, another person asking what happened. Once again, finger got caught in the dog's lead. Finger got broken. Detached the tendon. Had to have an operation on it. It's on the road to recovery, but I can't play at the moment. The Lamb is saying, sad to say they still do, John. According to Rick, backs sell an order of magnitude more DJ equipment than any instruments. That is, yeah, okay. Well, I don't care. Well, I sort of do, but you have to sort of coach yourself into not caring. The way I've trained myself to look at this is, there are probably a lot more electric guitars get sold than nylon string classical guitars. There are probably a damn sight more guitars of any kind of nature getting sold than there are cellos getting sold. But do you think your average cellist cares too much about that? It's just one of those things. You play the instrument that you love because you love it, and not because it's a popular instrument. How else do you explain the phenomenon of bagpipes, for example? You know the difference between bagpipes and an onion? Nobody cries when you chop up the bagpipes. Indeed, the old ones are the best. Neil Roberts is saying, do you think you may need to use lighter strings like Steve Hackett after his left hand damage? He uses 8 gauge now. I'm not entirely sure, mate. The surgeon has said that in her opinion, my hand will recover fully. She says, but she's never operated on a guitar player before, or not knowingly. Maybe she has, but so she said, because of your rather specialized use that you have for your hand, you may notice some more long-lasting effects, but you will be, at least 90% back to, or at least 90% back to where you were before the accident. It's because and frankly, I will take that, and if I have to adapt by changing my technique slightly, if I have to adapt by going from 10 gauge strings down to 9s or even 8s, then I'll take that, because straight after the accident, the finger in question, the third finger on this hand, just would not move. The signals were going from the brain to the finger, but the finger was just saying no, not doing it. And there was some very, very worrying few days there when I'm thinking, have I played a guitar for the last time? Peter Nicholson saying, notwithstanding your injury, do you still use your wireless guitar system? No, I don't. It just died on me. It just kind of upped and died, fully charged, and just like no sound coming from it. And there's like a thing where you can kind of reset it and kind of, get it to get the receiver and the transmitter to pair up again. And it didn't. But that is, something that I'm going to be looking at for next year. I'm just using, I'm not using anything at the moment, but just using the old cable at the moment. And that's a video that I've got planned for the new year once I can start playing again, is doing it, because I've had a viewer's question about it. Do different types of cables, do different lengths of cables, and do and wireless systems. Do they make any difference to the sound? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record something into me looper pedal down on the pedal board down here, and then try like sending it to the amp via kind of wireless, via a short cable, via a long cable, and just see what, if any, differences it makes, especially when you put that guitar part in a mix. Deco Dude is saying, John, help, got a new Marshall MG30, love the sound but can't use the looper because effects are in amp. Do I need to mic the amp up and run that through the looper? Okay, right. I see what you're saying. Yeah, so you want to be able to have like a clean sound on the loop and then switch to a dirty sound in the for the lead that you play over it. That's does the Marshall MG30 have an effects loop? Let's have a quick look. Let's just ask Mr. Google. Marshall, bear with me, I'm typing one-handed. MG30. Let's have a look. And just having a look at some pictures here. Does it have an effects loop? It doesn't. Oh, don't show me the back. Oh, features and spec. Let's have a look. I can't tell if it has an effects loop. It doesn't look like on this thing here. It on this listing I'm looking at here, it doesn't look like it does. But that if I was playing through an amp with an effects loop, then obviously all of your sound is even then, you see. No, because you could kind of record, put your looper in the effects loop and record your loop there with a clean sound, and then switch to your dirty sound. The loop would still have the clean sound in it, wouldn't it? And that'd be going to the effects return. And so that would work, but I don't think that amp has an effects loop. The only other option is to use outboard effects. So, that's as much as I can help, mate. Sorry. What else we got? Jay Aoyong saying, still on 9s, I couldn't get used to 10s. I used 8s in the 80s. And then on the advice of the guitar shop where I used to buy me strings, they said, you buy an awful lot of strings. I said, well, I keep snapping an awful lot of strings. They said, well, go up a gauge then. So I went up to 9s, and that was fine, and got used to those. Didn't really notice much difference, to be honest with you. Then I got my guitar set up by the late great Jim Cairns. Oh, talking about guitar setups, a little bit of news for you on that score as well. I must remember to talk to you in a moment about. And Jim Cairns, legendary guitar tech in this part of the world, sadly no longer with us. He said, you'll get a much better tone if you go up to a set of 10s. I said, well, yeah, but that's going to feel like a bit weird, isn't it? Going like changing it. He says, I'll tell you what, with the guitar set up the way I'm going to set it up, it'll feel easier to play even with a set of 10s on it. And I said, well, fair enough. Stick some 10s on it. And that was like in 1991, and that's like 32 years ago, and I've been on 10s ever since. Michael Broadhead, a video idea, John. A video diary of you trying to make friends with a Floyd Rose. Will you overcome your dislike? I suppose it's an idea, but the thing with the Floyd Rose is that it just seems the sledgehammer to crack the walnut, because like a non-locking trem, if it's set up, correctly, like the trem on my PRS, which I'm too lazy to go and grab, or the trem on this guitar here, this Charvel Guthrie Govan. It looks like a Floyd Rose down there, doesn't it? But it's not. It's just a regular kind of non-locking nut. Perfect tuning stability even for dive bombs, especially if you use, and this is what I use on the PRS as well, just a little bit of nut lube like this, which, so I just don't see the point of a Floyd Rose. It's like, they were over-engineered as a response to, Fender trem systems, which wouldn't stay in tune largely because of the poor quality control that Fender were kind of churning out in the 70s, and everybody thought Fender trems don't stay in tune. Well, they do if they're set up right. So I suppose it's an idea, me trying to get to grips with a Floyd Rose, but I just think that the visceral hatred runs too deep. It's just not. I just cringe when I think about my experiences with Kayla's and Floyd Roses. On road again, saying, thanks for answering my question, Don. Do you have any tips for haggling a guitar deal on a guitar, please? I'm a tight Yorkshireman and need to save money. I've always found that cash is king. It's if you go into a shop and they're offering interest-free credit on a guitar, and what you've got to realize that ticket price includes the price of them, because they're obviously using a credit broker to make that deal work. And a credit broker doesn't work for free, so a percentage of that ticket price will be going to the company that's kind of organizing the credit, right? So cut them out the equation, offer cash. Or put it on a credit card. That's the second best way of doing it. But there's just something about, just that visceral human response of the guy behind the counter sees you with an envelope full of cash. He doesn't want you to walk out the shop with that envelope full of cash still in your pocket and take it to somewhere else. So that always kind of, does a lot of persuading, I think. And in terms of, getting a good deal on a used guitar, well, there's a few guitars. I mean, now is a good time. It's a buyer's market at the moment. I've been looking around because, there's a couple of guitars in here that I'm thinking, maybe you've outstayed your welcome. Maybe I need to, kind of part ways with you. Not any guitars that you see me playing regularly, and not any ones that you can actually see, but there's over there and stuff. But I'm looking at the prices that they're going for. I'm thinking, I'm not really interested in selling it for that. I'd rather just kind of hang on to it for a while till the market comes round again. So anyway, yes, I had to talk to you about guitar setups, didn't I? I want to give a big shout out to a company in Middlesbrough called Agrajag Guitars. I'm going to be doing some work with them in the new year on this guitar. This Jet JT350. Just in an idle moment, I was, when you're kind of doing that fantasy guitar shopping thing, just flicking through my phone and I was looking at Suhr guitars. And there's a Suhr, I can't remember which model it is, but it looks remarkably like this. I just got me thinking, I wonder if I could get this as, up to a Suhr kind of standard. And, in terms of the, the electronics and everything and upgrading hardware and stuff, I can pretty much do that myself. But the one thing I'm not confident to do is the necessary refret, because I wanted to have stainless steel frets. So I contacted Agrajag Guitars and we worked out a deal for it's not going to be a freebie, but they have done me a nice deal, and we're going to be doing a video where they're going to be showing a little bit of the work being done. And it's going to be combined into a video, and it's like I've already got sort of a before kind of part of the video done with in the review of that guitar, which will be coming up in the new year. You haven't even seen the unboxing of that one yet, but yeah, the basically there's going that little Jet JT350 is going to be kind of getting a little bit of a boutique treatment. It's just, I must admit, I am shamelessly nicking Steve Cassidy's idea where he had, where he got a cheap guitar and threw a ridiculous amount of money at modding it. And I thought, well, yeah, I could do that. And that guitar just seems an ideal candidate because I absolutely love the way it looks, and it's got a great kind of feel to it as well. And it just seems like there's a, it could end up being, the kind of daily driver that if it all goes the way I would like it to. Let's see. What we got? Evening, Craig. I see you're in there. And Carl Tom is saying, Agra Jagger, brilliant. James is fantastic, John. Set up on my guitars recently. Brilliant service. Top bloke. Will always take my gear there from now on. Yeah, we have had something of a bit of a drought when it comes to guitar techs and setups and stuff ever since we lost Jim Cairns. There was another guy in Middlesbrough who was good. But he, sometimes he'd answer your emails or return your phone calls, and sometimes he just wouldn't. So it's nice to have, that company. Just check them out, Agra Jag Guitars. Just Google them. It's apparently it's some Tolkien reference or something. Agra Jag. I don't know. I'm not into all that Dungeons and Dragons cobblers, but it's. It's spelt as it sounds, Agra Jag, and and they look to be a really professional outfit, and I've heard nothing but positive reports about them, and they got back to me really, really quickly about this idea, and as I say, they cut me a really good deal on what were they going to charge me for the work on that guitar. So yes, looking forward to getting that. Looking forward to getting this sorted, and then getting that jet guitar sorted. So I will keep you in the loop. Well, definitely there'll be videos being made about it. And excuse me, I need more neck oil. Let's see if this one's going to be the anti-flake as well. There we go. So we've got Dave Stevens in. Just got off a train from London, from that there London. Yes, it's a different world down there, and we'll leave it at that. I've got a mate who works down there, and he it's not his. Most of the time he works from home, but it's not an enjoyable experience. Apparently, kind of just not necessarily the London part of it, but the train into London. It's. I once saw. Now all UK viewers will kind of get this reference, but it might not travel particularly well. But just bear with me. The Private Eye magazine years ago had a cartoon in it, just one of these little kind of comic cartoons, and it was a pair of Mexican bandits, with the kind of scarves tied around their faces, and there's the big kind of locomotive coming around the bend, with a cow catcher on the front and everything, and one of the Mexican, they're going to rob the train basically, and the Mexican bandit is has got like a leaf in his hand, and he's putting it on the track. And he says, "Trust me, amigo, it's a little trick I learned in England." For anyone who doesn't get that, basically the number of trains that get cancelled in the UK because of leaves on the line, yes. Anyway, Ian Clark saying, "What's on the menu tonight? Does it include mushrooms?" No. Yes, it does actually. It includes mushroom pilau rice, because we're having curry because it's Friday, and Fridays are curry night. But we just fancied a change this week. So those of you who were very, very brave enough to join me in October for the Red Carmageddon event will be familiar with Bengal spice. So our evening nourishment is coming from that fine establishment this evening. Let's have a look. Jay Aoyong saying used to be kebab night. Sometimes it's kebab night. Sometimes it's kebab night. Let's have a look, see what else we got. Medicinal purposes for that Heineken, no excuses needed. Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I mentioned, somebody asked earlier on if I had any more injuries. I haven't, but I have been suffering a bit this week. About 10 years ago, I woke up just one fine morning, and just within me back was in agony all the way down to my left leg. I had sciatica, and painkillers and physiotherapy sorted it. But this week, it's after 10 years being pain free with it. It's come back. So I've been doing the exercises and the stretches and the kind of groans and the grunts that go with them all week, and it's just because it's a damp day today. It's been a bit niggly, a bit kind of gripey, and saying like poking me. So I'm somebody saying there. Somebody's saying, have I tried English food? I think English cuisine is massively underrated. Mince and dumplings. Oh, yes, please. Oh, dear me, yes. Toad in the hole. Oh, bring it on. And the full English breakfast. No, there's a sight for sore eyes after too many beers the night before. I got to love a bit of English grub. Some of it, I got to tell you, is beyond me. Like, again, we're back to London again. This idea of jelly deals. I'll pass on that for. Thanks very much. It's. I like me English grub. I like me, music is, food is like music. It's easier to categorize what I don't like. I mean, look at me. Does this look like a picky eater? For God's sake, Peter Borthwick saying, I think you meant to say tripe, mate. Yes, that is. I tell you what, it was a hungry bloke who ate the first tripe, wasn't it? Same with oysters. Dear me, not for me. Thank you very much. Jay Young saying English food for me is bangers and mash and fish and chips. That they are. Yeah, that's it. Let's have a look. A big discussion about favourite English food, pie, mash, and liquor. Yeah, not for me, mate. That white parsley kind of gravy that they put on it, it's no, not for me. And the other thing I just can't get my head around is liver. Dear me, liver and onions. Oh, take it away from me. It's used to have to eat it when I was a kid, because my granny used to babysit me after school until my parents got home from work. So I'd come home from school to my granny's house, and the moment you kind of open the front door and the smell of the kind of liver that had been cooking, oh dear me, no, thank you very much. That's not something for me, thank you. It's did anyone remember that cartoon, King of the Hill, Hank Hill? And, there was something about eating liver on one episode of that, and he says they're trying to make us eat the parts of the animals that you're meant to throw away. Exactly. But each to their own, as they say. John Tate used to work with someone who ate chicken feathers in warm milk. Yeah, that's somebody that needs more therapy than I could ever imagine. I would imagine that between then and now that that person has been having conversations with some kind of court-appointed psychiatrist. There's something seriously wrong there. Let's have a look. I don't know, Jay, how young. I just know my granny used to go to the butcher's and come back with a pound of liver. Let's have a look. What else we got to talk about? Mickey Walnuts is saying fish and chips was brought to England by Greeks. Well, I don't know about that. I always understood that the chips were. I mean, who was it? The bloke who kind of threw his cape over the puddle for Queen Elizabeth, not our recently departed Elizabeth I. Walter Raleigh, that was it, wasn't he? I always understood he brought potatoes and tobacco back from his travels, and before long they were kind of peeling and frying the potatoes, and hence the chips were born. I thought it dated back then. One dish that was brought over by Italian Americans actually was a particular delicacy in this part of the world, the Parmo, during the Second World War. The Parmesan was brought to this lovely part of the world, and it's you can't get it anywhere else in the UK, or not easily. But it's basically chicken breast covered in breadcrumbs, bechamel sauce, melted cheese. Oh dear me, it's a heart attack on a plate, but it's worth it. Let's have a look. Peter Collins is saying Wigan kebab, a meat and potato pie on a buttered barm cake. Yeah, we have a similar thing here, where you can get a pie butty. Budget Guitar Show. Thank you, mate. Yes, it was Sir Walter Raleigh. And let's have a look. Let's have a look. What else we got to talk about in the dying minutes of the game? Peter Nicholson saying cockles should be put in a bath of water and throw a handful of flour in. After one night, there's a layer of sand on the bottom and hence no crunch when you bite. Yeah, again, it was a hungry bloke who ate the first one of those. I mean, first of all, the effort that you've got to do to, with a pin to get them out of the shell, and then you labour like buggery to get this lump of snot out of its armour, and then and you eat it, and it tastes like a lump of snot. That's not for me, folks. Craig Stamen saying you can't beat a good Parmo. GRB Aquatics, what you're saying there, mate. Do you ever have a choice with John Denver? Excuse me, I've gone out of focus as well. What's happening there? Maybe I'll look a little bit better. Funny you should mention John Denver. Is this camera going to focus? Oh, there we go. I did a song lesson for Fret Zealot a little while ago, and they gave me a list of songs that were that they had the rights to kind of publish, and Country Roads was one of them. And of course, we all know that song. We all know how it goes, and we know that it's what it sounds like. We've heard millions of versions of it over the years. So I actually sat down and listened to it, and it's once you get rid of the kind of fact that it's John Denver, and it's and the sort of the fact that he was never what you would call a cool person to admit to your mates that you listen to John Denver, but that is a cracking song. The vocal harmonies on it, the arrangement, and everything. It's just it's better than you remember it being the first time you heard it. Another one that's like that is I Got the Music in Me by Kiki D Band. Yeah, just if you've never heard that's the original version of that song, if you haven't heard it in a while, go and check it out. That's just, I often talk about it in videos when I'm talking about songs, when you can feel the vibe in the room when they were recording it. And, you can just kind of sense that eye contact that was going on between the musicians. And they're really just kind of rocking and jamming. It's just a fantastic song. Oh, Jay Aoyong, thank you so much, mate. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir. Let's have a look at what you're saying there. Beef Wellington sounds very English. Is it, though? As far as I know, it is, but, I'm not like a food historian, so I may be wrong on that, but... I do like a beef Wellington. It's just a posh meat pie when all's said and done, isn't it? Really. Beef Wellington, roast potatoes, mixed vegetables, good brown gravy. Oh, that's a good plate of food, isn't it? Theme Tunes is saying, I got the music as a storm. We used to play it all, and it was always terrific. Yeah, it's just a great, great song, I think. Let's have a look. Oh, Ian Clark, that's mate. That's a little bit close to the bone. I'm not putting that up on screen. The occasional strummer saying, "Have you ever tried Shergold guitars, originals or modern reissues?" I've not tried any of the modern reissues, but I was at college with a guy in 1984 who had a Shergold. I can't remember which model it was. It was probably the Masquerader, because that's the one that was the popular one. But yeah, I remember it feeling big and solid and like absolutely the most ridiculously low buzz-free action I think I've ever played on any guitar. Just effortless to play. But a big, heavy brute of a guitar that it felt like it would stop a tank at 40 paces. Yes, I have played one, and that's my abiding memory of it. I haven't tried any of the modern reissues, though, but I do like the look of them. There's just something quintessentially British about them, you know. Neil Roberts is off for his grub, off for dinner. Well, enjoy yourself, mate, and have a few beers with it. Why not? We've got 200 odd watching. We have indeed. John Tate saying, how come 206 watching but only 50 likes? People forget, mate. We're all drinking beer here. You know, we're all having a beer in the chat, and sometimes the kind of. But if you want to hit the like button, then please feel free to do so. I know I solicit it in all my videos because it apparently it helps the algorithm. Not that anybody really knows the way the YouTube algorithm works. It's but everybody who claims to, and loads of people claim to, but I tend not to worry about that kind of thing. I just make the videos that I want to make, and if they fly like an eagle or sink like a stone, well, so be it. Let's have a look, see what else we've got to talk about in the last couple of minutes. It's not quite time, gentlemen, please, unless I can find something to talk about. Let's have a look. Anyway, chaps, I think that's pretty much it for this evening. Thank you once again, 200 odd of you, for turning up and watching a fat, bald northern lad with one arm and a bad leg and too many chins talk about absolute cobblers for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.